This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to today's webinar. Before we get started, I'll just run through a couple of things, internal pieces. Give us a follow on our social media channels. We have Twitter at RHA News and Road Haulage Association on Facebook. Currently gearing up for our National Lorry Week campaign. So you see lots of activity on there surrounding National Lorry Week. It is something that we encourage our members to get involved in. Really important for our industry. We'd also encourage you to download our Roadway Live app. This is available on Android and Apple stores. On there, you'll receive all latest traffic commissioner updates, industry news, RHA events, and information on our future webinars. Please note the webinar is being recorded. With this in mind, if you could try to stay on mute for the duration of the webinar. If you do have any questions, the chat box is open, so please do pop them in there, and I will share them with Paul, the presenter, at the end, and either himself or me will get back to you with an answer to questions you might have. So as mentioned there, today's webinar is going to be presented by Paul Beck from RHA Insurance Services. The webinar is on the RHA Van Scheme today. So what I'll do now, I'll pass control over to Paul, who will present today for you. And as I mentioned, any questions, pop them in the chat box and we will get back to you. Paul, over to you now. I've just given you control, so you should see that in a moment.
Good morning, everyone. Right. Morning, everyone. So the purpose of today's webinar is to introduce a little bit about RHA Van and the RHA Van Insurance Scheme that we've set up, being launched this month. So we'll go through just the brief outline of what the Van Insurance Scheme is about, who it's aimed for, the features and the benefits, and a little bit about managing claims costs. Some things that come up regularly about young drivers, which we thought you might be interested in, a little touch upon cameras and telematics and where the industry is going and where we think the industry is going to go, and how you can position yourself best to take advantage of some of the new technology, a little bit about the future, and then a little bit touch about ourselves and what you can use us for as a broking business to the RHA. So I'm also joined by my colleague Kevin Dawes. Kevin will possibly chip in from time to time. Kevin runs the motor here at RHA Insurance Services. So, what is the product? Well, at a glance, it is quite simply a all-encompassing fleet product designed to provide a one-stop shop situation for all your van insurances for those people who are running fleets of vans, typically 10 vehicles and above, and members of the new RHA van facility. What things will it have that's different from what you're used to? Well, it's going to be backed by A-rated insurers. We're not going to go down the fringe insurance market. We need it to be quality. We want insurers to be around this year, next year, and the year after. So it'll be a panel of A-rated insurers. It'll have all the usual benefits that you'd expect to have from a quality van product. Many of them you'll be familiar with already, but we are looking to expand that wording out to give better cover enhancements, some higher limits, and some better and wider coverage. And we'll talk to you about those individually because they will vary depending upon your individual requirements. But it will be one of the widest wordings available in the UK marketplace. We're also looking at to reward, and we'll talk about this in greater detail later, but we're looking to reward the better performing risks so that you're paying for your experience and not somebody else's. And that will involve a low claims rebate for the larger fleets, where you will be rewarded for the benefit of your good experience. We also have, and this is something that we pioneered with the haulage fleets, access to a pollution and environmental helpline. Typically these days with spills on the carriageway, or even if you store your own fuel on site, spillages and environmental issues are far more prevalent than ever before. So we've teamed up with a specialist environmental helpline that can give you free advice if you ever get a spillage and you need someone to hold your hand through the process whilst the Environment Agency are breathing down your neck. And it's run by an Environment Agency specialist. This chap still teaches the fire brigade about spillages and spillage controls, so it is a top quality product. Hopefully you shouldn't need it very often, but it's nice to have it in the event that you have an issue like that. The other thing we'll talk about later in the presentation is, cameras and telematics are very much the future of road transport. Many of you will have some of that stuff already on your fleets. We will have a little chat to you about which way we see it going, and the preferred partnerships that we've got with a couple of partners that some of whom you'll have heard of, some might be new to you, to try and steer you in the direction of, if you're buying cameras, what should you be looking for? We also have a claims app as part of our RHA offering. We have a free to download from the App Store, and I can point you in that direction at the end of the presentation. And that's an app which basically allows your drivers to identify where they are, the damage, take pictures, do the basic information at the scene. That then gets transferred instantly to your insurer, or to you as a transport manager, and to us as your insurance broker, or indeed any other insurance broker that needs to see that stuff. And that's all done instantly. So it just tries to remove the need for the driver to start filling in forms after he comes back from the accident. And the beauty about being it done on his mobile phone is it records the exact date, time, and whereabouts of the crash. Also, we have access to the RHA's Risk Management Hub. Now, we'll touch upon why that's important later, but it's something we've developed for the RHA haulage industry to try and improve the management of some of the data that we get from the various applications that we have. And then finally, some of you will be familiar with Enterprise, the rental car company. We've done a tie-up with them to make the situation that if you have to hire a van for yourself because perhaps it's a fault incident and you don't want it to go through insurance, then we have a partnership where you can get discounted vans from Enterprise. And again, we can talk about that at a later stage if you want to get in touch with us. So, who is the RHA van product aimed at? Well, fundamentally, it's for van operators with 10 vehicle fleets or more. So, if you're a one-man band operator, we can help you, but to be honest, there are plenty of online places you can get help for that. So we're really aiming this product at people who have got fleets of 10 vehicles or more, right the way up to 500, 600, 700 vehicle fleets. So that's what it's designed for, and that's where we think it will be one of the market-leading products. For the industry sectors, obviously there are some new sectors that the RHA have been flagging up recently, like haulage, distribution, multi-drop delivery, single drop deliveries, construction industry, food prep, retail, warehousing, and manufacturing. Any of these sectors, and before, it's not just road haulage. Anyone who's an RHA member in the widest sense of that is eligible for this new product. This slide here is just a little bit of discussion about the future of where the insurance market is going. Now, it will be quite familiar to many of you who've operated large fleets, but perhaps some new stuff that you may not have heard of. The situation with claims costs is that apart from the obvious downtime that you have with the accident, with the loss of access, with the downtime, etc., there are a number of costs which are hidden and not always covered by the insurance. And these can be 4 or 5, and in some cases 10 times more than the actual physical cost of the damaged metal to your vehicle itself. And however good the insurance product is, then this downtime in terms of the management time, the legal fees, the additional admin costs of you getting that delivery made on time, swapping it into another vehicle, all these costs add up. And if we can avoid the claim in the first place, that surely has to be the best option rather than just managing the insurance costs following the claim. So we're going to talk about that and about prevention, because prevention is very much the way that the insurance industry is trying to go. And that prevention is all about keeping the insurance costs down. Fleet insurances is a very straightforward thing. The cost of the product is related almost directly to the amount of claims you had last year, and more directly than virtually any other type of insurance. So if we can keep the claims down, we keep the costs down, and all the uninsured losses and all the time costs that go with a loss. Young and experienced drivers. We know this is a thorny issue for you, and it's something we've tried to address with a new product. What we're looking to do with young and experienced drivers is, with our panel of insurers, we've spoken to them about what the future needs to look like, and they will all be responsive to sensible requests. What does a sensible request look like? Well, what we don't want to be doing is just to be turning up with our insurance company and saying, right, I've got an 18-year-old, he starts this morning, he's twiddling his thumbs in my canteen at the moment, can you put him on cover for one of my vans? And we've got no history of him. That's never going to be something that we would expect our insurance companies to jump at. What's far better is if we take our young drivers and we educate them and introduce them slowly into the business. They can spend some time in the office, they can spend some time in the warehouse. We then get a trust, you get a trust of them. They can understand the culture of your business and understand that it's not just about jumping into a vehicle and shooting off down the road, that it's about being part of the family and the culture of your business. And when an insurer sees that type of approach to younger drivers, they are far more receptive to letting them drive your vehicles, because they're no longer an unknown quantity. They're actually someone that you have some history with and that you have built up some trust and confidence with. In addition to that, we also have the situation with cameras and telematics. There's a lot of work going on about driver behaviours, which we'll touch on later in this presentation. But that's another way of introducing some more risk management to the younger driver. So, technology. What gets measured gets managed, and technology is one of the areas where, as I've touched on before, we will be changing the way that things happen in the future. So this is where the technology comes in terms of telematics and cameras. It's very common in the HGV world, and gradually that technology is moving down towards vans, towards private cars, and it's something that you're going to see far more of, particularly if you're operating a larger fleet. And it's an area where you can really make a difference in terms of cost savings in the longer term. At RHA Insurance, we're always very happy to give advice on the various camera technologies that are out there. We don't know them all, but we see them more than most people do, and we can give you an honest opinion as to what works, where we see issues, and what's right for you as a business. So to cameras. Front-facing cameras are obviously the most common, and unlike in the HGV fleets where 360 cameras covering all parts of the vehicle are becoming the norm, for the van fleets, a front-facing camera is probably all we need to be thinking about at this stage. More and more, the insurance companies take a view, which is the vehicle fleet with cameras is a far better proposition than those without. It aids on defensibility. It's recognised that people that have cameras in the vehicle tend to drive slightly more considerately of their fellow users than those that don't. So cameras are definitely the way forward. They're far less expensive than they used to be, and far more plug and play. So we recommend that for larger fleets, if you can get cameras, then they're a good investment, and we can talk about how that investment will pay off over the course of a year's insurance or 2 or 3 years insurance, because there's no point in buying a camera if it doesn't do anything for you. But again, we can talk about and we can show you and demonstrate how the camera technology will benefit with reduced premiums. Same thing goes with telematics. Where telematics and a camera system can be paired together, then it has a huge impact on the driver's behaviour. And we can see from the HGV fleets how far that's gone in terms of moving the losses down with those companies that are fully engaging with the camera technology. We can see dramatic 25–30% discounts in the claims history, and in the following year that translates to 25 and 30% discounts in their insurance premiums. So the benefits are huge, and it's really worth looking into that. The future, I'm going to hand you to my colleague Kevin, just as a change of voice, and he will chat to you a little bit about where the future of telematics is going. Kevin spent an awful lot of time in this industry and is regarded as an expert in this area.
Good morning, everyone. So just sort of recovering a few points on the slides there. We did talk about young drivers, something that we are promoting with the RHA, not only in the HGV world, but across all of the various schemes they've got. Younger drivers need to come into the delivery type industry. It's been a huge benefit to the country in the current pandemic that we've had. So things like telematics, when you're looking at young drivers' performance, are a huge benefit to the insurer. Any mitigation of loss that you as the customer can give the insurer, looking at data, is a huge factor. You know, most younger drivers these days in their own private vehicles will have some form of telemetry. They actually rate it differently. We're not looking to rate it in that way, but what we want is some visibility about those drivers, trying to take away that nasty image that putting an 18-year-old in the delivery vehicle isn't the right thing to do. We have to promote younger drivers in there. Not only sort of third-party telematics and cameras, manufacturers are becoming more key in the sector these days. Insurers are more proactive to work with clients and us as RHA Insurance Services for those clients that have got the technology. But you know, technology is moving quicker every week these days. Autonomous braking, you know, talking about driverless vehicles, and it's already happening in some locations. So anything that we can do that, you know, helps mitigate the risk with the use of technology is going to be beneficial to you as clients of the RHA. Insurers are interested in looking at driver behaviour and data these days, and it is proven in the industry that monitoring drivers will in fact improve your claims history. You know, drivers that are driving correctly, we like to call it smarter, smoother, safer driving, are less likely to have an incident, and by using the technology that's out there, we can help manage the claims on the risk. We talked earlier about the RHA hub. So one of the things that we are working closely with our RHA members on is the use of the data. We've designed an RHA hub, which enables us to upload various points of camera footage from multiple different systems. We can actually build in their driver behaviour, and we can take that from multiple telematics systems. So we're here to help as RHA Insurance Services as part of our ongoing partnership with the RHA. It is all about finding a solution, A, on quality insurance with A rated, B, on price. But in order to maintain those quality markets and good pricing ethics for clients have got to take on board and manage the risk. So it doesn't matter whether you're in an HGV or a van, at the end of the day, it's protecting your assets. So we've designed a hub data system which is available to members, where we can upload camera footage, telematics data, as well as uploading various things like documentation. Our aim is to get various things on there about industry standards, recommending improvements, sharing data which other clients are doing with the RHA. So as part of RHA Insurance Services, as our proposition to you, it's not just we're a broker that, you know, does you a quote and walks away. We're very much a partnership approach with the RHA. So the hub is there to help everyone along the way.
Absolutely. In fact, going forward, come Brexit and a hard Brexit, you'll even be able to order your green cards from the hub, which is a necessary evil, sadly, going forward. So to conclude, really, thanks, Kevin. Where are we? So the RHA van proposition is A-rated. It's going to be very flexible. It will be tailored to each individual client. So you know, if you've got a slightly unusual situation, don't be shy or scared. Come and talk to us. We are the partner to the RHA. We are here to provide insurance services, whether you currently deal with us or not. We are here to advise and to help wherever we can. So feel free to engage with us. We are regarded as part of the service that the RHA offers. In addition, if you do place your insurances with us, then a percentage of the profits go back to the RHA. So we're helping the valuable work that the RHA do by contributing towards the funds. And then just to recap some of the stuff that Kevin's just touched upon, some of the extra benefits that we're offering is the risk management hub, where all the various bits of data you can have go in one place. And there will be regular updates in terms of useful things for you to know, for your transport managers to get to see. And the idea is that it's a resource for you to use. The claims app we touched on already, that's absolutely free. So if you want that, get in touch with RHA or get in touch with Kevin or myself. Our contact details are at the end of this presentation, and we can point you in the direction of the claims app. But it's available for free, and you can just download it from the App Store. The pollution helpline we've touched upon, and again, this is perhaps hopefully mostly behind us, but we never know. We have a COVID-19 advice line for any RHA member who's struggling with insurance, who perhaps is having difficulty with the current insurance company, who are not giving the discounts about laid up vehicles that are currently off the road because of the COVID crisis. We've got a lot of experience on turning those decisions around, and not only getting them turned around, but getting the discounts available to you now rather than the policy end period where they're sometimes normally due. So again, if you need some help on these situations, then give us a call. We've got a lot of experience in helping RHA clients through that. Really, just to summarise what we've been saying is that our approach is very much a partnership approach. We're here for the long term, and we regard ourselves as your partner for insurance matters. So don't be shy about talking to us. We are here to help. We're here to talk about risk management with you. We're here to give advice on cameras. We're here to talk to you about telematics. We can talk about driver behaviours and driver training. We are a resource that you're very, very welcome to use for anything that is related to your insurance and your insurance spend. And I say, hopefully, we can also save you some money on your premiums. So thank you for your time this morning. If there's anything else that you would like to ask us on a one-to-one basis, then our contact details will be at the end, and you can be put in touch with us, and we'll come back to you on a one-to-one basis. Alternatively, give us a shout. Our number is 0203 960 2944, and the email address should be in front of you. Thanks very much. We look forward to working with you on the new RHA Van proposition, and hopefully we'll be able to speak to many of you in person. Thanks very much. I shall hand you back now.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate that. As Paul mentioned there, the contact details are there for now. I'll come back to them at the end for anyone to note them down if they need them. So looking forward to our next webinar on Thursday. It's work smarter, not harder. Hear how intelligent load matching has a potential to increase profits. It's brought to you by Martin Robinson. So really interesting topic there. As I mentioned, back to the contact slide for RHA Insurance Services. I'll keep this slide up for the remainder of the webinar. If anyone does have any questions, the chat box is open and will remain so until we close down the webinar. Thank you for your time today, and hope to see you all again on Thursday at 11 AM. Thank you. Bye-bye.